What's going on? It's Coach Williams, and I'm back for another breakdown. So today we're going to talk Roger McCreary. All right. So we already talked about the top tier corners. Now we're going to get into some of the mid tier guys and to some of the top tier safeties. All right. So here's the deal with Roger McCreary. All right. You put his tape up against any of the other corners in the draft, and there's nobody's tape who's better, right? His tape is phenomenal. The problem with him is his size. Even though he's 6 feet tall, he's undersized because his arms are really short and his legs are kind of short too. He looks smaller than 6 feet, but that's what he measured at the combine. Also, his top end speed at the combine was about a 4.5. If you're a smaller, undersized corner, you want to be a little bit faster than that, right? So not great measurables, but the tape is phenomenal, right? So he's most likely not going to be a first round guy, might not even be a second round guy just because of the size. The NFL, they get scared away from that, but the tape is phenomenal. He might not be the best corner in the draft, but he's definitely my favorite. He's my favorite to watch. So with that being said, he had a phenomenal game against Alabama. So let's dive into the tape and see just what makes this player so good. So here we go. He's in press man-to-man coverage. That is where he lives. That is where he feels comfortable pressing guys. So he's on the line of scrimmage, gets a nice good jam on this guy, forces him inside, stays on top of the route, in position, incomplete pass, all right? So now we're going to go to the next play. He's at the bottom of the screen right here, okay? Again, he loves to live in that press man-to-man coverage, right? He's on his hip. Right, I believe this is Jameson Williams. And what he's doing is he's running this deep corner route, right? So he's getting, inside leverage, acting like he's going to run a seam or a post or some kind of crossing route, something in the middle of the field. And then he's going to bang across to this corner. But McCreary is all over it, right? And even though, Bryce Young didn't have any time, there was no way he was going to be able to throw this ball to this guy because McCreary was in his hip pocket, right? That is a really hard route to defend, right? Because we always talk about it's hard to go across the field with guys. Well, it's hard to go across the field with a guy, try to keep up with him, and then he loops around on you and you're in position. Like that is really, really good in man-to-man coverage. That's running the gamut right there. So here we go again. He's at the top of the screen here. All right. Inside release, gets hands on. And this time it ends up being a completed pass. But like we always say, going across the field with receivers is really hard. If this ball is going to be completed, you got to make sure you make the tackle immediately. And that's what he does, right? It's second down. So he keeps him short of the sticks and they can get into a third down situation. All right. So we'll see it again from the tight. We'll get a nice little view of it. Okay. So comes into the screen, and look at that. That's as good as it's going to be in man-to-man coverage, right? He's stuck to him. He goes in and makes a tackle, right? It's a really good job, right? So now we got him down here at the bottom of the screen, okay? So he lives in press man-to-man coverage, right? It's a little bit of a stall release. He's nice and patient, stays with Metchie, right? Again, going across the field with receivers. They're running mesh here. This is really hard to defend. And he gets his hand on that football, right? One of the beauties of having him out there is you usually don't want to end up in man against mesh. We all know Alabama majors in mesh, right? They run a lot of mesh routes, right? Doesn't matter. They can run man-to-man coverage because they know that McCreary can hang with these guys. It's a phenomenal job going across the field, okay? So we'll see it again from the tight. Alabama's always got these long cadences. All right, so here we go, right? He's right there in his hip pocket, right? Gets hands on, opposite hand across, had the other hand on the hip, so if he didn't get the ball out, he could make the tackle. It's in good position. It's phenomenal, okay? So now we got him again at the top of the screen. All right, Jameson Williams. This guy's a 4.2 guy, right? This guy definitely runs a 4.2 40-yard dash. You're living on the edge if you're impressed man-to-man coverage with him. Doesn't matter with McCreary. Step for step with this guy. Makes a play on the football. Man, that's phenomenal right there. That is awesome. That is great coverage right there. So we'll see it from the tight. All right. They take this shot. McCreary, he's got a little bit of a step on him, but it's got to be a perfect ball. Oh, he's in position to make the play. So I think we have McCreary at the top of the screen. This is cut up for John Metchie, but we're looking at McCreary. Actually, no, we got McCreary in the slot here. My bad. So he's on Jameson Williams. Again, right? Man-to-man coverage. Sticks tight with him. Nowhere to throw that football. Nowhere to throw that football. He is mirroring routes. He's on top of everything. Okay? So, all right, Alabama with their long cadences. Right? So we can see it here, right? He's in that hip pocket. He's harassing him with that hand, right? That's what we always want to do. When you're getting up the field, right? Especially in college football. You can't do this as much in the NFL. But, I coach college football. That's how I coach my guys. When you get that receiver pushing vertical, you feel comfortable with him, right? You want to do something to affect him, right? You either want to stab with that hand and harass him, or you want to get your hand on his hip and then lean on him, right? But he's doing exactly what he needs to do. It's great coverage right there. All right. So now we got him in the slot down here, okay? And again, right? He's in position, right? Has this guy cut off, right? So that's the key thing too, right? When you get into this position, like we talked about, like with harassing him, you got to do something. And what he does is he cuts him off. And there's nowhere for this guy to catch the football, right? Nowhere for this guy to catch the football. Now, I don't know. This is not QB school, right? I don't know if that throw was thrown to the wrong place or if the receiver was not in the spot that he was supposed to be. But either way, he's in between the receiver and the football. Those guys want to mess up. We're going to take advantage of it, right? We're going to take advantage of it. So, right, we get a nice good view of it here, right? Ball gets left kind of inside. I think this might be on Bryce Young, but I don't know. It's not QB school. All I know is how to defend these guys, okay? So now this rep, oh man, this rep is awesome right here. So he's in man-to-man coverage with Metchie, okay? Metchie, right? And they're trying to do everything they can to try to get these guys some space. So what they're going to do is they're going to motion him, get him a nice, good head start running, and then try to run him on the wheel. That's really hard to defend going across the field with a guy. Or watch McCreary. Gets downhill. That's one of the things that I like too, right? So we've talked about this in the past. About 2 years ago, if you've been following me that long, right, we were talking about Jalen Ramsey, right? And how some young DBs don't understand how to travel across the field with motion. They'll try to go underneath the linebackers. You don't want to do that because if it's a run play, right, they're going to have to fill. So if they got to fill and you're underneath, it's going to be a cluster, right? So you always want to go over the top. But the second you clear the linebackers, you want to get back downhill, get as close to that receiver as you can. Well, that is exactly what he does. Gets back downhill, right? Does a good job going over the top of all of that, and then getting here, getting him cut off and in position, right? Ends up being a sack, but either way, there was no way he was going to be able to throw the ball to this guy, right? That's great coverage. So here we go. We're at the top of the screen. All right. So he gets the outside, inside, outside move, right? We've seen that before. Don't matter. He's mirroring that. He's all over it. All over it. All right. Again, we're at the top of the screen. Same thing. They try to go back to something similar, and he's in position, right? He is really good at mirroring routes and press, right? On top of it, good footwork. I don't like the outside spin, right? Like, I don't like that. He's kind of speed turning here when he doesn't have to. Should just get hands on like he normally does. But he recovers and gets in position, makes a play on the football, right? The thing is about him is the reason why his tape is so great to watch is he's a good player, but teams still go after him, right? He's a good player. He's put good stuff on tape, and teams still go after him. So we can see how he plays the football in the air. It's harder watching some guys like maybe Sauce Gardner, right? It's hard because they're not going to try to attack him. They know what he can do. For some reason, teams like to go at McCreary. Doesn't matter. He ends up in good position consistently, makes a play on the football incomplete. Love it. Love it. I'm telling you, man, like nobody's tape. I'm not saying he has the best tape. I'm just saying nobody's tape is better, right? He's up there with all of those guys. So I've been praising him for a while, but now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that he struggles with, right? So it's really odd. Small guy, usually not good at press man-to-man coverage, usually better in space, right? And, working with receivers that have quickness and mirroring that kind of stuff. That is what he struggles with, okay? So we're going to see this rep right here. He's in press, opens the gate, right? That's not good. Usually he doesn't do that. Usually he's a little more physical at the line. Receiver hitches up. Good anticipation from the quarterback. Ball is caught, right? So that is what he struggles with, the change of direction kind of stuff. It's not as good at that, okay? So they complete that ball there, right? So now he's in press man-to-man coverage, right? He's on top of this guy. Double move, right? So they go with the hitch and go. But this time, he's in position, makes a play on the football, right? Makes a play on the football. The vertical stuff, you're not going to beat him on the vertical stuff. It's just not going to happen, man. That is not his kryptonite, right? He is really good going up against vertical stuff. Ends up in position, makes a play on football, right? Uses the proper hand, right? Gets that hand in there, knocks the ball out. All right. So again, right now we're back here on the goal line. A little stop route. Okay. Ball doesn't come out, right? Ball doesn't come this way, but he would have been open again, right? Would have been open again. He has a little bit of trouble with that change of direction, and I don't know what it is. I'm not entirely sure about what it is about him that he struggles with that, but my only guess for why he might struggle is, oddly enough, for a dude as small as he is, usually smaller corners are a lot better at staying low, right? Even though they're already low to the ground, they're better at staying low. He plays a little upright, as you can see right here, right? He's a little upright, right? You want to be lower. You want to keep your hips low. You don't want to have to sink them. See how he has to sink his hips back down to be able to make a play on this football? Usually with smaller corners, they stay low the whole time, right? Usually that's something that, bigger guys have trouble with. But for some reason, he just struggles with it. All right. So again, we got him at the top of the screen, right? Gets a double move. That time, I don't know, man. He recovered, but I think it's because the receiver slowed down, right? Again, that is how you get him. And as you can see, they've been in this area of the field, and that's how they've been attacking him. What do I always say on these things? Eye in the sky doesn't lie, right? These offensive coordinators, they're watching this stuff. They notice it. They know how to get you. And that's something that he struggles with, right? So now I think he's down here at the bottom of the screen. All right, press man-to-man coverage again against Metchie. Does a good job, right, of mirroring the route, right? It's going to be hard to get off the line of scrimmage, right? Again, it's in good position. Again, stop route, right? The change of direction stuff is what he struggles with. When he can be physical and he's playing in a phone booth, it's almost like he's like a big dude like Richard Sherman or something like that. But like in space, he just has a little bit of trouble. Has a little bit of trouble in space. Okay, so we can see it again. Nice, easy completion there. Okay, so he's in press man-to-man coverage now. It's where he lives against John Metchie, right? Gets hands-on. Good job being physical at the line of scrimmage. That's a much better rep, right? That's a much better rep. And I think part of it is because he got such good hands-on, he's riding the receiver. He doesn't get any momentum to try to make it look like it's a fade, right? He doesn't get any momentum, and he's all over him, right? He's got to win at the line of scrimmage. He's got to win at the line of scrimmage, all right? So we're going to watch this last play. For all the love and all good stuff I've been giving him, this is how the game ended, right? Went to overtime. I think it was like double or triple overtime or something like that. Got to that point, and they decided, right, they were going to go 3-by-1, isolate him, motion to 4-by-1, get everybody out of the area, and they said, we'll put our money on Metchie versus McCreary. He gives him the outside, an inside, back outside, right? Gives him that little whip route. Nice, easy completion, right? Short area stuff. Short area stuff is what he struggles with, right? Playing too high. See how he has to sink his hips down? Got to play lower. Touchdown. Okay? So we'll see it again from the tight one more time. They motion to 4x1. And look at how much separation John Metchie is able to create. On the goal line, that's not good enough, man. Not good enough. Ends up being a touchdown. So, for all the love and the praise that I gave him, he does have some holes in his game, and there are some measurable issues with McCreary. But you got to love his heart. You got to love how hard he plays. You got to love that he played as well as he played in the SEC. He's going back and forth between John Metchie and Jameson Williams, right? Two of the best receivers in the entire country. And he played lights out for most of the game. He looks phenomenal against these guys. But I'm not done with Roger McCreary. I'm going to have another McCreary video because I like him so much. I'm going to show you what he looked like against a receiver that is definitely a first-round receiver. And as well as he played against these guys, he put that dude in jail. He had him in prison, all right? He was trying to get out on good behavior after he went up against Roger McCreary. So you're going to have to subscribe to this channel if you want to see that video. So, as always, you know what it is. It's Coach Williams, Ball Hawks. We fly. I'm out. Peace.